So guys, I'm back once more, and I could give all kinds of excuses that I was sick and this and that and the other, but I've been a little busy and trying to get back on track with the video. So, the question of the day. Well, it's not the question of the day, it's the question I made up. There's a frequently paraded around quote that is often attributed to Aristotle, saying, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is an act. Not an act, but a habit." Now, first, to throw the cat among the pigeons, it's not actually Aristotle that said that. Aristotle said a long, complicated thing. Well, it wasn't even that long, complicated, but a vague thing about swallows and the blessed life of a man. It was Will Durant, an American historian and philosopher, who wrote a number of great books where he went back through the great arts of the philosophers to explain what they did different ways in more modern language, who actually came up with that particular quote. But nonetheless, that is the question. Are we what we do? And the answer is yes. You are a product right now of your food, your sleep, your activity, and your environment. Where you sit right now, the situation you are in right now, is a product of all of these things. So the thing you got to ask yourself is, are you happy with where you are right now? Are you happy with your body? Are you happy with the way you feel on a day-to-day basis? Are you happy with your strength? Are you happy with your level of fitness? Well, if you are happy with all of those things, you need to change nothing. You need to keep doing exactly what you're doing right now, and you will remain pretty much the same or on the same trajectory. So if you're happy with everything you have, if you're happy with your fitness, if you're happy with your weight, you can turn this off. We're done. What if you're not happy? Well, there are things we can control and there are things we cannot control. However, the key difference is change. And as it's about what we repeatedly do, if you change one thing for 2 or 3 months and then go back to the way you are now, you will end up in the same place. This is why yo-yo diets don't work. People have the idea, I will change my diet for 6 weeks and I will lose that weight. And then they have the idea that they are going to go back to eating the food and the diet that put them at that weight in the first place. So inevitably, we will end up in such a situation again. So it's all about the small little steps. You know, you can take stock of your life, you can decide what are you happy with and what are you unhappy with. And if you're unhappy with your weight, which is obviously a frequent topic in here, there are things you need to change. And usually when you're talking about your weight, it's going to be related to your diet. Unfortunately, there are certain habits you may have which are not helping you to have the physique that you desire. There's no point in saying, oh, it's just an exception, oh, it's just a one-off, oh, it's just this. That justification is what's stopping you from making the changes you really need in your life. You need to take control of the things you can control. You know, you are in 100% control of the food that you put in your mouth. I don't know anyone who is force-fed every night. So sometimes you have to put on your big boy pants or big lady pants, if that's the particular anecdote we're going for, and say no. Say, no, I don't want that biscuit. No, I don't want that piece of chocolate. And, okay, maybe you want it, but does that piece of chocolate get you closer to your goal? And I'm not saying don't eat chocolate forever. That's mean and cruel and unusual. We should be able to enjoy things. But if you look at the way the world was 50 years ago, a bottle of Coke was a treat you had once a week, and it was a small bottle. It was 150 millilitres, and it was in town. And because it was 50 years ago, you usually had to cycle 20 miles to get there. And if you were lucky, that was your treat. A bit of chocolate was something that you had on occasion. You had maybe at a weekend, every second weekend. If somebody came to the house and you had a very physical life, you were probably on a farm, you were pulling and dragging, and you were working all these calories off all the time. You were not having chocolate every night of the week. And that might sound harsh, and I know it tastes nice, and yes, that's great. But if you're not happy with where your body is, you need to make some changes. And these are one of the things we see very commonly is it's just too easy to get the food. It wasn't easy to get it 50 years ago. There was a whole ordeal involved. And guess what? You didn't eat as much of that crappy food at that time. Now it's far too easy. And you know, all this convenience it makes us lazy. You know, we can sit down, we can watch the television. We don't even need to open a book and visualize. You know, it's very easy to get the food. We stop in the petrol station in our car on the way home, and it's all there in front of us. You know, it's not like, okay, I'm going to have to cycle to the shop. And I'm busy the rest of the day, so I'll have to do that on a Saturday. And if I want the real fun stuff, I have to go to Galway, which is a 2-hour trip in and a 2-hour trip out. I mean, it's crazy when you think how easy it's gotten nowadays. So that's me ranting as per usual, but there's the thing you need to think about. Are you happy where you're at? And if you're not, what can you change? And maybe it's as simple as getting something you can control under control. And I hammer this time and time again. How good is your work time lunch or your work time breakfast? If you get those 2 meals sorted, and don't expect to sort them all overnight, but if you get your work lunch and your work day breakfast, that's 5 days a week, that's 10 meals. If you get those 10 meals sorted, that is a substantial portion of your week. You can balance an awful lot by having these perfectly disciplined, routined and prepared. It can make a big difference. And you could still do the same stuff you do in the evening, kind of, sort of, but over time. But that's what I would say, is pick something you can control. Usually the easiest thing to control is that breakfast and that work time lunch. Happens at the same time every day, happens 5 days a week, and it happens in a routine. Find a way to control that and see how you get on. Nonetheless, good luck guys, look forward to talking to you again next week.